All right, our man Lane, how we doing tonight?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
Man, we are awesome. When we scheduled you to come on after Super Bulldog weekend, I could not have imagined it to have gone the way it did. So, absolutely exciting times to have you on. But before we get into any of that, before we get into your story, man, let's break the ice a little bit. What's your favorite song right now?
Um, I think my favorite song right now would probably have to be something from the new Morgan Wallen album. I like the song the 98 Braves. I don't know. It's just a song kind of it's one of the catchiest songs I've heard. And so that's a song that I love right now.
According to Daniel, all 38 Morgan Wallen songs on the album sound the same.
Well,
Yeah, it take
is that's just I guess that's some people's preference. Some people like them and some people don't.
I
uh,
I could drive from Tampa to Starkville, Mississippi, and that track or that album still wouldn't be finished playing.
uh,
But
well,
hey, he's
I
doing
guess
his
that's
thing. He's doing his thing though, Lane. Like 9 out of 10 guests say Morgan Wallen is it. So I mean, hey, shout
yeah,
out to him. It may not be our cup of tea, but hey, it's a lot of other people.
It's
So
somebody's cup
yeah,
of
that's
tea.
right. He's doing something right.
all right, so gotta know, man, what's your favorite baseball movie?
Favorite baseball movie is probably uh, I like I like the one about Wild Thing where he comes out of the bullpen and he's got
Major
his
League.
hair all cut. Yeah,
Major League.
that's
That's
probably my
actually
favorite
Daniel.
one.
That's actually Daniel's favorite. So you've
So,
won your way back after the Morgan Wallen.
Okay, yeah, that's all that matters.
All right. Last one, and then we'll get into your story, man. Who is your favorite athlete, whether it's all time, growing up, whatever? Who's that one athlete for you?
Um, I really like Dustin Pedroia, and I've always liked him since I was a little kid. And so I don't know. I kind of try to model my game after him. He's just a hard nosed, just a dirt dauber, gets after it all the time, and I don't know. I love watching him play and seeing the way he played.
Dustin Pedroia, man, that's taking it back a little bit. Definitely a solid player, lockdown defender, guy who, just like you said, nose to the dirt, gets after it, man. Um, you know, kind of, I can see a lot of you as we've kind of followed you in your career. Like you see a lot of that, and a lot of people that Jim talks to has a lot of like the same, reflections of you as a player, like a guy who's going to do it the
Yeah,
right way, work really hard, and just kind of just get after it every day. It's almost as though like you're playing every pitch, every inning, every game like it's the last one you'll ever play. So um,
yeah,
I want to get into the backstory a little bit and get into, why, that kind of mantra has stayed with you for so long. But in order to do that, we need to learn a little bit about where you're from and how you grew up. So talk to me a little bit about where you're from.
yeah. So I'm from Jackson, Tennessee. It's a it's not just a small town, but it's not real big. You know a lot of people. I mean, everywhere you go, you know somebody there. I went to a very small private Christian school and went there kindergarten through 12th grade. And so I knew pretty much everybody there. And I mean, 90% of my graduating class, I was there with them from K through 12th. So
Very,
it was kind of a small town where you know everybody.
yeah, very, very familiar with the Jackson area. Obviously, Jim and I, growing up in Memphis, it's kind of a short little trip up the interstate to get to Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
But tell me a little bit. You mentioned small, small school. You went there, your entire, academic career. But mom, dad, both athletes at Jackson State. Tell me a little bit about growing up. You got any brothers or sisters, or just you the only child?
Yeah. Um, I got a little sister. She is 13 right now. So she's actually, what's that? She's 8 years younger than me. And I mean, we're being we've been kind of far apart, and just because 8 years is not too many, it's not too close together. But yeah, that's my little sister. Both my parents were athletes. My dad played baseball at Jackson State. My mom, she was a gymnast, and she actually got asked to go to the Olympics, I think, once or twice for gymnastics, and she turned it down because she didn't want to have to move to the training facilities. But yeah, I like to joke around with my dad a lot and tell him that's where I got my athletic ability.
I mean, gymnasts are no joke. We interview them on here and we watch them. Hey, I kind of believe it watching the way you play defense, brother.
Yeah, that's right. That's where I got my flexibility.
I mean, if I had to bet, and I'm a betting man, I would bet that in everyone's prime, your mother is definitely the most athletic.
Oh yeah, I would bet on that too.
So talk to me a little bit about your sister. You guys are 8 years apart. I'm just curious because I'm my wife and I we're expecting a daughter in the next four weeks or so. But I have a daughter, and so my kids are going to be almost 6 years apart, and I'm kind of wrestling with the idea is are they going to be close? Are they going to get along? Or is it too far of a gap for them to have anything in common? So I ask you,
Oh
man,
yeah.
obviously, is there some commonality there? And if not, like, what do you do to build closeness?
Oh yeah. There's definitely some commonality. Me and my sister were some of the closest that, I mean, you can't really get much closer than me and my sister, even though we are 8 years apart. But I mean, we kind of just find a commonality in things that we like, and she's a volleyball player, so she loves volleyball. So whenever she wants to play volleyball, I play volleyball with her in the backyard. We'll bump the ball, and then in sports also she plays softball, but volleyball is her thing. But we'll go hit off the tee together. She'd always be watching me in the cage. She'd go to all my tournaments. She'd be in the stands all the time, playing with little Barbie dolls out in the stands while we're playing in Atlanta or something like that. And she was just always there watching and always there supporting me. And yeah, we're as close as you can get with brother and sister, even though we are 8 years apart.
So outside of playing softball and volleyball with your sister, when you were growing up, were there any other sports that you played?
Yeah, I played football until my freshman year of high school. And then once I kind of committed to Mississippi State and got some offers and stuff and started getting serious into baseball, I kind of called it quits on football. Just didn't want to risk injury or anything like that, and risk them being able to take my scholarship away.
So what and remind me of the school again that you played for?
I played for Trinity Christian Academy.
Trinity Christian. So it's a small world. I have a friend. Jim has the same friend that we went to high school with, played football with. His name is Alan Irvin. You ever heard
Oh
of that
yeah,
guy?
oh yeah, that's my guy, Coach Irv.
So let me tell you about Coach Irv. All right. I'm gonna give you some insight that nobody I don't we may have talked about it when we had him on the show way back, but Coach Irv, Allen, he lived in my neighborhood and he would ride his bike. And I had a dog, a pretty big dog. And Coach Irv is not the biggest fan of big dogs. My dog is a
Oh
barker,
god.
but not an aggressive dog
Man,
by
you
no
bull
means.
crap. That dog had me cornered one time, scared for my life. You a lie?
That's just because he's your dog. You don't think he's aggressive.
Anyhow, so Coach Irv thinks my dog is chasing after him on his bike. Coach Irv, instead of looking in front of him, is riding his bike and looking behind him at the dog that's chasing him, supposedly, and runs dead into a brick mailbox.
Oh gosh.
And I I promise you, this was the most unbelievable, like magic voodoo stuff that I've ever seen in my entire life. The mailbox completely crumbled, but
Oh, I don't doubt it.
somehow Coach Herb kept riding the bike. He rode through a mailbox, dude. I'm telling you, it was
Good Lord.
unbelievable.
Which prepared him to later when we would go against each other in football practice for him to truck stick me. So
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
And
doubt it.
and to that day, I knew that despite Coach Irv's, because the Coach Irv that you know was a big dude, like thick, had some muscle on him. The Coach Irv that
Oh
I
yeah.
knew growing up, he wasn't like that. He was strong, but not that kind of strong. But I knew he had it in him because I seen what he was capable of. But
Saw him run through that brick mailbox.
But
right,
but the best part about this whole thing coming around, Lane, and me and Daniel were talking about before the show, and he was remembering back because it was so long ago. He was our second guest ever that we had on the show, and
Wow.
when Daniel had asked him what was the one athlete that he would say was the best athlete he was working with at your school, he said your
Mhm.
name. So to 7 seasons later have you on is just kind of wild because he mentioned your name all the way back in high school.
Wow, that's crazy. That's kind of crazy that he would mention my name. Because I know he works with a lot of top tier athletes that come out of Jackson in all sports, not just baseball. So it's kind of crazy that he mentioned my name.
Daniel, with the way Alan works, the way he works hard, and we talk about Lane, do you think that's probably what garnered Alan's attention was Lane's work ethic?
yeah, he was like Lane. I think could run through a mailbox too. It's like,
Oh
I,
gosh,
oh man,
I don't know
he
about all that.
definitely he definitely like when he's the type of guy that when he starts talking about anything really, you listen because he has like this like believability because of experience, but also because he knows like just got a
Yeah,
knack for spotting talent. He's got a knack for developing talent. And the way he talked about you, like we see it play out every weekend when we turn on the TV, we turn on SEC Network or ESPN, like we see it. So definitely, kudos to you for the hard work that you put in because people are noticing it, people see it. Um, but I want to
yes
get
sir.
into
Thank you.
yeah, man, yeah, I want to get into the nitty gritty though, man. Letterman 4 times for head coach Jeremy Maddox at Trinity Christian Academy. You were selected team MVP as a sophomore and a junior. You were perfect game preseason All American. High honorable mention as a senior. You were perfect game preseason underclass All American. High honorable as a junior. You helped Trinity Christian to a Tennessee uh, Division Two 1A state runner-up finish as a junior. With all of those different seasons and different accolades, what moment in high school was your favorite?
Um, I'd have to say just making it to the state tournament and making it to the state championship game. Um, even though we lost, kind of still bitter about that, the way we lost. But yeah, just making it to the state tournament, making it to that state championship game, because that's what you. I mean, in high school, that's what you work for, and then once you get to college, you work for the College World Series and all that. But in high school, that's all you know is you want to get to the state championship game and you want to play in the state championship and be a state champion. So that's probably my favorite moment.
So, obviously that's a big time accomplishment. I mean, making it to postseason in baseball is hard to do. Making it to state championships in baseball is hard to do. And whether you win it or you lose it, it's still an unbelievable season to get you there. So obviously your high school seasons were incredible. But talk to me a little bit about travel ball season. Who did you play for travel?
Yeah, so I played for Tim Doolin with the Doolin Dodgers out of Memphis. They moved their organization out to Texas now, but I played with them out of Memphis, and we'd have all the showcase days and all that stuff at colleges, and we'd go play in Atlanta and Florida and all over the country. But that's who I played with in the summer, and Tim Doolin, he's probably another one of those guys that helped me to get to where I am today, and help me accomplish the things that I've been able to do.
So, between travel ball and high school ball, which one, I mean, and most of the time the answer is pretty clear cut, but in this case, because you were so good at high school, or your team was so well accomplished in high school, but also when you mix in your travel ball playing for Tim Doolin, um, which one of those provided you the better avenue to pursue baseball at the next level?
Yeah, I think probably Doolin's kind of got me out there and got my name out there. But I think Trinity also had something to do with it, just because I mean, it was a smaller school and kind of a smaller town, and so there wasn't too many people coming out to Trinity. But Doolin's definitely got my name out there and probably helped the most, just from going to tournaments and getting scouts and all that stuff at the games and getting my name out there. And like I said, we would have college days at all the different colleges every year, and so we would show up and put on a showcase, and it'd be all the guys from our organization that they wanted to go, and they would get to we would get to showcase our talent and just show what we could do, and get the coaches or get our names on the coaches' radars and stuff like that.
So when did you, or well, what colleges did you start getting on their radars? And like, was it a showcase, or was it a actual tournament or a game? Like, what was it when colleges started, or when you noticed colleges starting to pursue you and talk to you?
Yeah, about it was probably my summer of after my freshman year, so going into sophomore year of high school, I started really talking to colleges and talking to some of the bigger colleges like Tennessee and Alabama and Mississippi State and Vanderbilt were my top four, and so those were the main ones I talked to, and those are kind of the ones that I had on my list to go to out of high school, and I mean, Doolin's really helped me get there and help me do that and get to talking to those coaches and things like that. But yeah.
So Lane, you're the first guest we've had on since the rules been passed. I want to get a take from both of you, and I'll start with you, Daniel. The new rule being passed down, so for the way Lane and his recruiting process was, it's no longer allowed. You can't talk
Yeah.
to him that early. So Daniel, before I ask Lane how he feels, how do you feel about it?
I think there's a level of like, I think you don't know what you don't know. So you got to give young players the opportunity to learn some things that they don't know before you ask them to make a decision that's going to ultimately really determine like a lot of the trajectory of their future. Um, so like I don't disagree with the rule, but I'm wondering like why now? Why all of a sudden now?
All right. So Lane, I asked you, first kind of, do you like the rule? And then do you think it would have changed anything on the trajectory in which you went?
Um, yeah, I like it because before, when you could talk to them that young and commit that young and do all those things, you're kind of like, as a college coach and thing like that, you're kind of just what the player's going to become and what you see they could be, instead of like coming out of high school and later on in the high school season you see like actually what they are, and they've proven what they can do, and just different things. You've seen them for that much longer, and I don't think it would have changed anything with mine, because Mississippi State was one of my top three all the way through high school and growing up. So when I came here, and I actually committed to Coach Canizero, who was the head coach when I committed, and I really
That's exactly what we talked about.
I think you just need to ask that question over again.
Are you back?
We're back.
yeah, I'm back.
All right. Hey, we're gonna try. I'm just gonna go. I know I hate to make you do it again, but it started breaking up real bad as you were answering. So I'm just
All right,
gonna ask
yeah.
you. All right. So for you, Lane, as a guy who got recruited when you did, do you think or how do you feel about the rule, and do you think it would have changed the trajectory in which you went on?
Yeah, I like the rule because the college coaches aren't allowed to recruit or they can recruit, but they can't talk to you and do the things that you can while you're so young. And so it kind of gets to where they aren't just betting on who the player could be. They're seeing who they are and who they have like how they've developed all the way through high school and all the things like that. And I think also that I think NIL money kind of has something to do with it too, a little bit, just because if you would be seeing high schoolers right now with freaking probably $100,000 just chilling, and I mean that's just not any kind of money that young people like that need right now, and that early. And I really don't think it would have changed anything with me, just because Mississippi State was on the top of my list. And I mean, when I came here, I I met the coaching staff, even though I committed to Coach Canizero, but then Lamonis came in and he was still great, and he's a great coach. And yeah, I don't think it would have changed anything because I really was going just for the baseball. And I mean the stadium that they have now and all the things like that. I mean, you really just can't beat it.
So outside of just we'll call it the atmosphere, what was the big push? Was it, you know, where you always wanted to go? Was it the lineage and the history? Was it the players, or was it one in particular thing on a visit that helped you go, Mississippi State is for me?
Um, I mean, honestly, growing up, I always wanted to go to Vanderbilt just because it was the closest college to where I live. It was in the same state. They were always really good, and they were always in Omaha. And but then later on, when I got into college, I started realizing that it's also about like a lot of other things like grades because you got to be eligible and stuff like that. And I didn't think I was smart enough to go to Vanderbilt, and so I kind of marked them off my list a little bit. And Mississippi State kind of popped into my head just because I went and took a visit there, and I really liked how it was a smaller town, smaller college town, just like my hometown is. And it kind of just takes a lot of distractions away because if you're in a big city, you have a lot of distractions. You can focus on other things besides what you need to be focusing on, like baseball and school and things like that. So that's kind of what did it for me.
Yeah, on the Vandy academics thing, I mean, it's a real deal. We had Hayden Leatherwood on here, seasons ago, and he talked about how, he didn't even make it to the baseball portion because he said the first semester at Vandy was so hard he had to get out of there. Like he said, the
Yeah.
academics he said when he was at Collierville, he didn't deal with anything like that, and so
Yeah, heck no.
it was
Lane, I want to interject just for a second because I'm curious, because we got Hayden's story about going and then realizing he was in over his head as
Yeah.
far as academics, but you not making the decision to go now that you have some semesters of school of college under you, do
Hmm.
you think you could have done it?
Um, I think I could have, but I also think that it
Would it
would
have
be
taken away from any, like, would it have taken away like any time that you spend in the cages, any time you spend on the field, any time that you spend actually like enjoying college life?
uh no, I don't think it would have. Just because everybody talks about you don't have much time in college, but I mean, if you know how to manage your time and you have a schedule that you set, it's not too hard to do your schoolwork, get in the cages, get the work you need to be done in, uh, eat, get on a good healthy plan like a diet, get on all that kind of stuff. So it's not too hard once you get there and get in a routine. But that's the biggest key is getting in a routine and learn how to manage your time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously we're going to get into why you made the right choice of the two schools, but you get to Starkville, man. What are the emotions like? You obviously talk about being from a small town, and Starkville's its own place, but man, you're playing in the mecca of college baseball in Duty Noble, man. You're coming to a school that just went to back-to-back Omaha appearances. Like, are you nervous or are you excited?
For me, I get I get more excited than nervous just because I feel like I've kind of been in big situations and big time atmospheres and stuff my whole life, and just playing with Doolins and being in tournaments and big time stuff like that with Perfect Game and all this stuff like that. But it's definitely not as, you don't realize how, let's see, what's the word? You don't realize how big and important and crazy the atmosphere and things like that is going to be until you play your first game and you step on the field for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're gonna get into some of these games that for you that have been absolutely amazing. That freshman year, man, you started 58 games at shortstop, appeared at the plate 186 times, batting average of 231, on base percentage of 321, collected 30 runs on 43 hits while gaining 21 RBIs, had the second highest assists on the team and second most fielding double plays. You take over at shortstop. Cameron James is we call him the prince of the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Three-time guest. He I covered him in high school. He's like family. For us, we had him on and we knew we talked to him coming in, what his expectations were at shortstop. You end up taking over short. He moves to third. What's that conversation like? Is it awkward at all, or is it, hey, we're going to do what's best for the team and we're good with this?
Yeah, it wasn't awkward at all for me. And thank goodness Cameron James is a great person and a great guy, and he understood what needed to be done and what the coaches were just doing and how it needed to be done for the team. And he was very good about it, went about it in a great way. And he was just very team minded and put the team first and very selfless in that. And he saw the brighter side on it.
Well, yeah, and clearly Coach Lamonis had it right based upon the way you played, the way it worked out for Cameron. Cameron says it was the right move. He ended up feeling comfortable at third base. His dad felt more comfortable with him at third base, and then with what you were doing at shortstop, it was clearly the right choice. Because you got your mom's gymnastic skill because you're flying all over the place, making ridiculous plays. So, Coach, shout out to Coach Lamonis for making a move that some people you probably didn't agree with or didn't understand, and you come in as a freshman and show
Yep.
that you were meant to be there. Obviously some struggles at the plate, something that you wanted to prove on, but let me ask you a question. Me and Daniel were actually talking about this, but we were talking about basketball before the show. We were talking about Russell Westbrook had a very tough shooting night, but he did everything else, and at the end of the day he said he felt like he did what he needed to do for his team. We know that you've had some struggles in that freshman season, specifically batting. Do you still feel at peace about it because you bring what you bring to the table defensively, even though we know you want to bat better? So I'm not saying you're okay with it, but do you feel a little bit better because you know what you bring defensively?
Yeah, and one of the first conversations that I had with Lamonis and Coach Gotro whenever they said that I was going to start was they were telling me that they really didn't care if I batted 200 or 350. It didn't really matter. They really just wanted me to make the routine plays and some of the really good plays and do what I do on defense, and the hitting would come around. But yeah, I think it definitely helps, or definitely it definitely worked out. And a lot of times what I tell myself when I'm not hitting good or I'm not doing my thing on batting is to try and impact the game on defense and try to do something on defense that just helps my team win and helps the team better off throughout the night and throughout as the game goes.
Yeah, and as huge college baseball fans, we watch games every single weekend, all the different teams, and a lot of it, a lot of teams lose games because of the errors and the miscues on defense. So it can't be undervalued how good it is, especially in the middle infield, to have guys that are reliable like yourself. But let's talk about the atmosphere. You said, you talked about you had played in some big games, man, but regionals and super regionals that year, talk to me about first, because obviously it got larger with each one with regionals and going super regionals. But talk to me about, man, the dude is completely rocking, completely packed out. What it was like in that atmosphere that first time.
The first time that we played in that atmosphere, I think it was the regional game, and I think we were playing Sanford or somebody like that, or VCU, and it was the game. It was VCU. It was the game to go to the super regional, and that was honestly probably, other than my first game playing, that was the first time I really kind of blacked out running onto the field and didn't really remember going out on the field just from that electricity and that atmosphere. And it really is crazy. You don't realize how many people are in the stands when you're on the field, but once that place gets rocking and it gets going, it makes that 15,000 or however many is there sound a lot more than it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And so then it gets even larger. You get Notre Dame comes to town. Y'all, set an attendance record then for a super regional. Was it any different? I'm not talking about because it was super regional in the sense of it was to go to Omaha, but as far as the crowd, could you feel it, the electricity? Did it feel larger?
Oh yeah, it definitely felt larger. It also was because I think the crowd was just into every pitch and they knew how big of a game it was and how big the scenario was it was occurring, and how every single play, every single pitch mattered so much. And so they were just locked in the whole game, all three games. It was electric.
So you guys punch your ticket to Omaha. It's every kid's dream to go to Omaha. You go to a school like that because you expect to go to Omaha. But could you really have foreseen yourself when you take a step back, being a freshman, starting at shortstop on a team that is going to Omaha? I mean, was that not like? Did it feel like it was a dream?
Oh yeah, I mean, still to this day, it feels like a dream and feels like it wasn't real. Just to be there and win it and do the things that we did, it really still doesn't even feel real.
So, y'all win the whole thing. And as we said, we are going to bring up, against Vandy. So, it's kind of a cool that you tell us that backstory because we have no clue that Vandy was the top option possibly for you. And so for you to go to Mississippi State and then beat Vanderbilt makes it even cooler. But, you were on the College World Series all tournament team. Y'all get it done. I gotta ask, man. It's been a while since because a lot of the most recent Mississippi State guests were not a part of that title team. So I gotta ask you,
Yeah.
2 years later, like, do you still get goosebumps? Do you still get chills? Do you, even though you're playing trying to win another championship, has the feeling went away?
Oh, it definitely has. And every time you run out onto that field and onto any field, really, you remember the things that have happened. And anytime you hear like the song play that you run out to onto the field, you always remember and get those goosebumps and remember the good times that you had and remember all the good things that happened. And yeah, no, you never forget the memories that you make on the baseball field.
Well, I'll tell you, like I've told every guest from Mississippi State that's a part of that team. You saw my son this past weekend. He got to
Yeah.
be there all 11 days in Omaha. Shout out Greg James as usual. In 2021, he will bleed maroon and white for the rest of his life. He's been to Disney World twice since. He said both times it wasn't better than Omaha. Omaha was the best time of his life. Daniel can verify. And so I shout out every one of you guys because that was you guys that were out there making him love this game and love Mississippi State. And now, like I said, I've tried to inject purple and gold in his veins, Lane. It won't take, it rejects. And so
Well,
he's maroon and white for life, brother.
that's all right. That's good. I'm glad we could have an impact on him and make him love the sport even more than he already did, I'm sure.
Yeah, no doubt. So sophomore season, let's get into it. Obviously a tough season for you guys, man. Injuries just
Mhm.
piling up. You appeared in 48 games. Obviously, you're at shortstop again. You did up that batting average to 273. I remember you even going on a little heater for a while, which got a lot of people excited because they had been rooting for you to be able to, not only have that defensive prowess about you, but also be able to hit much better. So shout out to you for increasing that batting average by almost 50 points. But the thing I want to talk to you about, man, the first time I saw you step on the mound, I was like, holy crap, dude, Lane's pitching. Is that something that happened because of all the injuries that mounted up, or was it something that was actually a possibility before that?
No, it really wasn't even brought up until we started having the injuries, and I just one day had said something kind of jokingly that to Coach Lamonis and Foxhall, saying that, I mean, if they need some help, then I could help them out and maybe get on the bump a little bit. And I guess they kind of took it and ran with it. And I think Biloxi, when we played against, I think it was Texas Tech, we had the series in Biloxi with them. That was the first time I got on the mound and really threw a bullpen. And I mean, and then 2 weeks later, I was on the mound in the game. So it was kind of crazy, kind of chaotic.
Daniel, you were a pitching coach, University of Tampa, man. For you, what's it like when you got injuries mounting up and you got to go over to your shortstop and say, "Hey, brother, it's time."
I mean, it's honestly the easiest part of my job because there's no expectations. It's like can you throw it over the plate? I don't care
Yeah.
how far they hit it. Just let them hit it actually and see what we can do behind it. Yeah. I think when it comes to that, there's always usually, and Lane, you've probably been around it. There's like one guy that you can always go to that like you never want them to have to pitch, but if you got into a bind and you needed someone to eat up some innings just to save some arms and kind of get you to the next day, there's always that one guy from the positions that wants to relive something. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
always helpful to have one of those guys, definitely. But you never want to have to use them, that's for sure.
What's funny, Daniel,
Yeah.
is because go ahead.
There's always those few guys that were like, yeah, position players that threw 95 in high school that think they can still get on the bump and throw it that hard. So you
It's
just always have those guys that you can go to.
What makes it great, Daniel, is so Lane is a fan favorite on Twitter. And you know how Mississippi State fans can be. They have a lot that they're not their favorites, but Lane is a fan favorite.
Oh,
So
yeah.
last year when pitching would be struggling, Daniel, the go-to would always be like, take this dude out. They were rude about it. Let's call it what it is. But they were like, we just put Forsythe out there, because they love Lane. Like if we're gonna have this kind of struggle pitch on anyway, let's go ahead and get our boy Lane out on the mound. So they wanted him more. They didn't see him enough.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And breaking news while we're doing a Mississippi State episode, Lane and Daniel, Dakota Jordan, by request of the people, just messaged me and said he wants to come on the podcast. So for all the state fans listening, Dakota Jordan is coming to a podcast near you. But
Yeah, my
this
boy
one,
DJ.
yeah, that dude had a weekend, and we're fixing to get into it. So let's just jump into this season, man. Last year was kind of rough anyway. Let's get into it. Obviously, a slow start, but y'all get that first SEC win in a long time over a very good top 5 ranked now South Carolina team, and then you get series win over Alabama, series win over Ole Miss. Let's start with that South Carolina win. Being that y'all had such a slump in the SEC and it had been a long time, how good did it feel, even for a guy like you that was a national champion, just to, man, get that monkey off your back and get that game?
Oh, yeah, it was huge because, I mean, too, there was just a huge weight on everybody's chest, on everybody's shoulders, just knowing that we hadn't done that and it had been so long. And so as soon as we got that win, I think it was Coach Lamonis who said it in the after game little meeting with everybody. He said something along the lines of, we got the monkey off our shoulders, and so now it's time to roll. And I think even the fans, everybody knew that once we got that first one out the way and got that weight off our shoulders, that it was gonna start clicking a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt. So you get that, and then you have the Alabama series. So now not only do you got to win, but you get a SEC series win. So, like, I mean, could y'all feel like, things were starting to turn?
Yeah, we did. we started off slow, and then after we got that win against South Carolina, who we knew was very good and who had been hot, we we knew that we had a good team, and some of the South Carolina players had told us during the games that we had a good team to just keep working hard and keep playing because they had played some good teams this season so far, and we were one of the better teams that they've played. And so we knew we had a good team, and we just knew that we had to, at the right time, at God's timing, that it would just click and everything would roll. And so that Alabama series really helped boost the momentum too, and boost the confidence in everybody, and just get us kind of clicking and get us on the right track.
Yeah, no doubt. And so that carries into this weekend, man. Super Bulldog weekend. And, obviously, like we said, I saw you there. First night, close game, loss, obviously didn't go the way you wanted. But man, let's just jump into Saturday. Dude, first of all, let me pull the number up in front of me. I actually had it off the top in my head, and I just all of a sudden forgot it. 16,423 people. We were just talking about those crowds, but those were for super regional and regional games, Lane. Man, this proves that it just means more in Mississippi because everybody was there to see it. And so let me ask you, Lane, man, 16,423 people, and y'all walk it off, man. I watched it, but I want you to walk me through that whole scene.
Yeah, well, going into the top of the ninth, we have Nate Dome, who he's been our guy all year long that we go to in sticky situations or anytime we need to just hold a lead, and he's been dominant for us. And he didn't have his better outing or one of his better outings, but he ended up kept fighting and kept competing and filling up the zone and got us into a good situation with a little bit of momentum to come back and swing the bats. And they brought in Ole Miss had brought in a freshman, and in that situation with that big of a crowd and all those people chanting for Mississippi State and it just being that electric, it's a lot for a freshman to handle, and we knew that. And so Coach Lamonis and Coach Gotro just kept saying, pass the bat, and we got a few guys on with walks, and then they couldn't stop the inning, and the inning kept rolling, and the crowd kept getting louder and louder, and then Dakota came up, and he got ahead in the count with a 2-0 count and got a good fastball to hit, and I guess the rest is history. I
Yeah.
mean, everything else you kind of, with that big of a crowd and that electric, you kind of just black out whenever the situation happens. You don't remember much.
So who makes the decision for y'all, or were y'all just following Dakota? Who makes the decision for y'all to run all the way out there to the outfield and jump up on the wall?
Well, Dakota, he's one of our faster players, and so we were kind of just chasing him, trying to catch up with him. And then we finally got his shirt off, and we just followed him all the way out there into the outfield.
Yeah, I was like, where are they going? And then next thing you know, and I talked to Cade Smith afterward because it's clear that he took a shower and everything. I said, you went and got cleaned up, didn't you? And he said, I had to, man. We got drinks spilled all over us over in the
Oh
outfield.
yeah, yeah. We got out there in the outfield, and they started throwing beer and all kinds of stuff all over us.
Man, didn't they know y'all had a concert to go to? And that
I
was
know, I
that was
know.
the other
They should
part
have
I wanted
known.
to. That's the other part I wanted to ask, man. How cool is that? I mean, y'all win that game, you walk off. We talk about Super Bulldog weekend, then man, y'all get to go out there and watch a concert on y'all's field, man. Like, I mean, how cool was that experience?
Oh, it was awesome. It was honestly kind of felt like a movie kind of day just because what happened with the game, and then kind of felt like it was kind of scripted, and then got to go to an awesome concert and just be with all the teammates and guys after a good win, after a good walk-off win and setting an attendance record. And it was kind of scripted and kind of felt like a movie.
Yeah, no doubt. So business was not done yet, though. You had to come out Sunday. Y'all had to win. And that y'all did, man. You get the series win over Ole Miss. And so, like I said, back-to-back series wins over Alabama, over Ole Miss. It feels like because we talk about Dakota, but he's not the only one. We talk about the freshmen are now seeming to get comfortable. The veteran leadership is there between you and the other guys. It really feels like this team is starting to come together with those two. And then you got Auburn on deck, which, don't sleep on anybody. But based upon what I've seen, I feel like Mississippi State is definitely a better team. So, I feel like there's a chance for some really good momentum for this team coming off back-to-back series wins and then going to a team where I feel like y'all can definitely go take care of business. So, give me the pulse of the team right now. Obviously, you're on a high because you beat Ole Miss. But, are y'all feeling the same way I'm feeling about y'all? Like, y'all have turned the corner? Like, hey, man, we can do this thing. We can get back in contention?
Oh yeah. I think we always knew that we had it and we had it in us and we could do it. It's not on our time, it's on God's time. So his timing is always perfect, and you just have to trust the process and trust his timing. And once you get everything to click and you get that momentum going, you got that confidence. So you step in the box or you step out there on the mound, and you just have that much more confidence, and kind of you just kind of know you're going to win and know you're going to take care of business and do your job the best you can. And so that's all that you can really focus on and all you can control.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, game by game. And so I wish y'all nothing but the best of luck. I will have my little diehard state fan there for Arkansas. So I look forward to seeing y'all back in a few weeks. And hopefully, man, hey, we can do it again and have some fun.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. I appreciate you.
All right, Lane, before you bounce, man, we got to play a game.
All right, let's play
You,
it.
you down? Only
Oh yeah.
200 plus guests have played this game. So if you don't play, you'd be the first. So,
Yeah. I reckon I'll play. I don't want to start a bad trend or anything.
all right, because this is a Mississippi State episode, this edition of This or That's brought to you by the Bell Smith. You know the Bell Smith?
Oh yeah, I do.
You better. You better. Anybody that's a Mississippi State fan probably knows the Bell Smith. If you don't, you need to know him because you need to go get your custom bell. Um, you name it, he'll do it. You pick it, he'll do it.
I got the
But
most interesting background, Daniel. I got LSU stuff everywhere, and then I got cowbells on every top of my baseball boxes.
yeah,
I saw those in the background.
it's crazy. But what's really neat is um Jim's son. Jim sent me a picture. I guess what it was like a media picture, wasn't it, Jim?
Yeah, man, they got him out there at Mississippi State's social media account out there ringing that bell.
Yeah, he's got his own bell, just giving it hell. Just
Well, it's actually Kinley Hawk's bell, and let me tell you, I had a talk with
Oh
Brooks,
yeah.
and then Brooks had a talk with Jackson. My man, my little fixing to be 11-year-old has his first crush, Daniel, and it's a guest of this show.
Well,
Did you see the video I sent you? Hey, Lane, this man went up to her during the softball game and went and had to wave and get her attention. Like, he's never like Cameron James is his favorite baseball player. He ain't never tried to get his attention during the game. You know what I'm saying? So you can
Oh yeah.
really tell what's going on here.
Yeah. Hey, he likes them athletes. That's a good thing.
there you go. But all right, Lane, let's get into it, man. This or that. It's very simple. I'll give you two options. You choose one option or the other. Can't say both, can't say neither. Just be decisive and pick one. You ready?
All right. Sounds good.
All right. If you had the ability to do one of two things, teleport or use a time machine, which one would you pick?
Oh, I think time machine.
Where would you go? Would you go
Um,
backwards in time or forward in time?
I think that I'd go backwards just because I always remember it's always just amazing being a kid and not having any worries. And so I think I would go back.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Only mode of transportation is a donkey or a giraffe. Which one are you picking?
I'm gonna go with the giraffe.
It's the sexy pick. I'm gonna give you that. Maybe not the not the most effective use of transportation,
Yeah.
but
I
you
think
probably
I think a
probably
giraffe
figure it
just
out.
because I'm a shorter guy, so I kind of want to know what it's like to look down from up there.
I can respect that. Would you rather be the fastest person in the world, or would you rather be able to fly?
Oh, I think I'd rather be able to fly. I
I
think
mean,
flying would be pretty sick.
either way, you're gonna be able to catch Dakota before he makes it to the outfield. So,
Yeah, that's right.
all right. Would you rather be trapped in a romantic comedy with your enemies or a horror movie with your friends? Rom com with enemies, horror movie with
Definitely,
friends.
I'd definitely say a horror movie with my friends,
I mean,
just because I don't know. I like horror movies and watching them, and I feel like most people that are in horror movies are kind of dumb and they do dumb things, and so I feel like I could outsmart them.
well, let me tell you this. Every horror movie that's out there, the person, whoever the killer is or whoever like the bad guy is always walking everywhere. Like if you're dumb
Yeah, they
enough
do.
to get it from someone who's just walking, like you deserve it.
That's why I like that parody commercial, Daniel. I don't know if you ever saw, but it's recent, like in the last year, and they're like, it's like making fun of scary movies. It's like we're being chased. Let's run into this house and go upstairs, like where they're trapped. Basically,
Right.
let's do whatever the dumbest decision
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can do is.
yeah.
All right, Lane, would you rather have your original Sunday blacks from your freshman year or your current Sunday blacks?
Hmm. I like. I really like the Sunday Blacks from my freshman year. I like the black pants. It was probably because that was one of the only uniforms that really fit me that good. But that was probably one of my favorite jerseys I've ever worn, and so I'd go with the Sunday Blacks from my freshman year.
Yeah, it was my favorite. That's why that custom bell I got from the Bellsmith up there is the Sunday Black Championship Edition. I was a huge fan of the Blacks, and so when they disappeared, man, I was like, what? And then y'all came out this year, and I understand it's just the top, but hey, I still like having some form of black with
Yeah.
maroon on it.
Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong. The Blacks this year is sweet too, but I think the Blacks my freshman year were my favorite ones.
For sure. Would you rather attend a concert or a sporting event? We're not talking
Um,
about like just a concert in the outfield at the dude. We're talking about like a bucket list concert, like big time or big
yeah.
time sporting event.
Um, I'm gonna have to go with sporting event because earlier in the show, you remember I said one of my favorite artists was Morgan Wallen, and so I got to go to a Morgan Wallen and Hardy concert last year, and I still think I'd have to say a sporting event.
What sporting event? What is the bucket list sporting event?
Um, I'd like to go watch the Olympics. I think
Summer
that would be a bucket list
summer or
thing,
winter?
sporting event to go watch. Do what?
Which one? Summer or winter?
Um, I'd say summer for sure because summer has the basketball and all that, doesn't it? And then it has the volleyball and the track and all that. So I think summer would be sick.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
But
nice.
he would miss out on. I'd go to the Winter Olympics with my mom and watch gymnastics. Isn't it winter, Daniel? No, it's summer.
Mhm.
Oh well, then yeah, you're picking the right one, Lane. Because I bet you and your
Yeah.
mom would have a blast watching that.
Oh yeah, she loves watching gymnastics when the Olympics comes around.
Sure. All right. Better bombs. Who hits better bombs? Hunter Hines or Dakota George?
Oh goodness. Um, I think I think Dakota. Hunter's probably gonna be mad at me for that one, but I think Dakota does just because he his are just he gets so excited and so hyped after he hits it, and he just brings a little bit more hype to the game than Hunter does. But Hunter's kind of more of like a mellow temper, not get real wild and stuff like that. But Dakota, he's intense and he loves the game and he plays it with passion. So his are a lot more passionate and he gets after it.
Well, I'll tell you this about Hunter. When he came on here, he very boldly projected that he'd hit 25 or more home runs. And Daniel and Randy said it's a tough feat. I told them, I was like, man, I don't know. This dude really cranks them, and here he is sitting at 17 with a lot of time left. So,
Yeah.
Daniel was talking about being a bet man. I'm one myself. If somebody asks me to bet on it, I'm betting on Hunter to get to 25.
Oh yeah, I would too. He he's bold and he'll say some things, but he normally backs it up and backs it up with the best of them.
There you go. Would you rather be attacked by a grizzly bear or a tiger? We know
Uh,
you're not gonna survive either, but if you could prolong the death longer, which one are you taking?
I think I think I'm I'm probably lasting a little bit longer with a tiger. A
Mm,
grizzly bear, them things are huge and they can gnaw you down real fast. And I feel like a tiger, they'll claw you and they'll eat you, but you can kind of squirm away from them. They aren't as big.
I mean, they're pretty big. Just saying, they hunt at night too, so there's
Yeah,
that whole aspect of it.
yeah. Grizzly bear, I don't know. They're just them things are scary.
I mean, they're both scary, no doubt. I don't think there's a whichever one you pick and whatever your justification is, it's spot on. But um, give me my chances with a grizzly bear just because I don't see well at night, and I don't want to be looking over my shoulder. At least I know, like, if it's a grizzly bear, I know it's there.
Yeah, that's true.
So, last question before we let you bounce. Would you rather betray your best friend or go to jail for 5 years for a crime you didn't commit? We're talking about the ultimate betrayal. No coming back. Never gonna be friends ever again, or go to jail for 5 years for a crime you didn't commit.
I think that's a tough one. I think I'm going to jail though.
Mm.
I just I'm a I don't know. I can't really betray my best friend. I don't know. That's just
Lane, do
something.
you really want to do 5 years in prison though, bro? Do you? I mean,
No, but I wouldn't want them to do 5 years in prison. So I'd rather be me than them.
Let me
I know I can last.
tell you something, Lane. Jim is my best friend, and I ain't doing no jail for that dude.
and vice versa,
Not
and vice
not
versa. I'm
doing it.
telling you right now.
I have a pretty standard formal response to this question. I will not spend 5 years. I will not spend 5 months, 5 weeks, 5 minutes, 5 seconds. I won't even step foot in the parking lot of a jail for this dude. Just know that.
uh,
Oh,
dang,
hey,
that's a tough one.
hey, I
Oh no,
still
this is easy. I'll pillow my head just fine at knowing this at night.
our last two. Well, no, Trey Richardson said he's definitely betrayed his friend, but Lane and Drew Bianco both said that they couldn't betray their friends. And Daniel, man, they just I don't know. They're young and just not thinking about it well enough about what they really have to endure in jail. Lane, you don't want to do jail, bro. You don't want to do it.
Yeah, I don't want to, but I feel like I could do it, and I wouldn't want my friend to do it.
Well, Lane, it's been a pleasure. It's been a blast. Great story, man. It's finally good to get you on and kind of hear from you. We wish you nothing but the best. But before you bounce, anything you want to plug or promote?
Uh, nah, I don't really have anything to promote. I just want to say thank y'all for letting me come and for having me.
I got
It's
one.
been an honor.
I got one, man. Go get a Lane Forsythe poster from the Athletic Collection. One of
Yeah,
our sponsors, man. That thing is hard.
Yeah, that's
they're
one of the hardest
also
posters, dude.
go get a Lane Forsythe T-shirt jersey from Be Unlimited here in Starkville.
All right, so for all you Starkville natives, for all you Mississippi State fans, you need a poster, you need a jersey, go get it. Lane Forsythe's your dude. Go support him. Go support the team. It's simple. And by the way, if you're looking to support the team or Lane, going over to Instagram at lane.forsythe or at Hale State BB. You can also catch them on Friday night. They're traveling to Auburn to take on the Tigers. 6 p.m. start time, SEC Plus Network. Saturday, 2 p.m. start, SEC Plus Network. Sunday, 1 o'clock start, SEC Plus Network. I got a question before you go, and I was reading or looking through the schedule. What's up with the game tomorrow? Why is that canceled?
The game got canceled because who we were playing had to make up a in conference game, and so they canceled the trip here and got their game rescheduled
Oh,
to.
they saw the dogs got hot, Lane. Let's just
Yeah,
call it what
Yeah,
it is.
that's what I was thinking. So
I
then
guess so.
so then my next question, and this might be an error, but on the 25th of April, it shows y'all playing Ole Miss again.
Yeah,
No,
that's the Governor's Cup game, and so we always have a weekend series with them, and then a midweek game for the Cup.
I mean, isn't that just look? I'm gonna be honest with you. Ain't nobody, ain't nobody caring about that cup,
they didn't last
especially
year. Mississippi State won the series
especially
last year.
if you take care of business this weekend because that next weekend is a huge weekend.
Oh yeah,
Huge. It ain't like all these games matter every weekend, and Tennessee is it might be in a position where they got to win, and you guys might be in a position where you're trying to keep the ball rolling, man. So hey,
yeah,
I'm a little interested to see how that Governor's Cup goes.
yeah.
Might
It's gonna be interesting for sure.
Lane's gonna be on the mound. What are we talking about here?
let's go,
We'll
Blaine.
see. Hey, I pitched in it last year, so I hope not.
Yeah, you could give them three strong, right?
Well, my arm could. I don't know if I would keep keep us in the game, but
I
we'll
mean,
see.
I heard you were charting pitches this weekend, getting prepared.
Yeah, I was getting my arm loose in the bullpen.
There you go, man. Lane, hey man, it's been a blast. If there's anything we can do for you along the way, please reach out, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely. That's Lane Forsythe, everybody. We're going to take a quick break. We got to plug some sponsors. When we come back, Jim and I are going to recap this weekend's college baseball action. We're going to talk a little NBA playoffs, and then who knows? We might even talk Russell Westbrook.